Gotcha. I hope everybody's doing well. Today was our third practice, first day in shells. We didn't get a chance to do that in the spring. So I know our players were excited to have a chance to strike people up front and finish with thuds and a little bit closer to football. I really think over the last 3 days, our offense continues to improve, as far as how fast we're getting lined up, getting the calls in, communicating, taking care of the football. I was really pleased with our offensive line today. They continue to improve and develop some chemistry up there. We're playing a lot of guys get a lot of different opportunities there and moving some guys around. But you can tell from a conceptual standpoint that, we're a lot further ahead than we were probably when we practiced in the spring, thanks to the OTAs we had this summer. Defensively, we've got to continue to work on trying to create turnovers at practice. First day we had a chance to thud somebody up, and there's guys out there that flashed that look like we've been doing it for a while, and we got other guys that's got to continue to improve. So one thing that I want to update everybody on is with Tamarion McDonald. He had shoulder surgery this summer, and we elected to do that so he would be ready when we started, in the wintertime. So went ahead and got that done for him with the uncertainty at that point in time during the pandemic. We felt like that was the best thing to do, so we went ahead and done that. So he's a guy that will definitely be redshirted this season. I'll take any questions.
All right, reminder, hit the raise your hand function and we'll call on you. We'll start with Blake Topmeyer.
Hey, Jeremy, is Harrison Bailey practiced this week?
He has not practiced. At the last press conference, I told y'all we had some guys that were in some social quarantine, and he's one of the guys that is.
And then if I could follow up with Trey Smith's practice situation, I know the plan was to try to get him a little more practice this year. Wanted to revisit that. What is the update on that? Is he going to be doing any more full contact practice than he was last year?
Well, he definitely will be doing more than he did last year, because last year he done 0. With the season being pushed back, with the way that we've spread practice out, 25 practices, I think it's over 36 days or 42 days, whatever it is. There's breaks in between, so it's going to allow him to get several practices during camp.
We'll go to David Pascal from the Chattanooga Times.
Hey, Jeremy, good luck to Marion County tonight. What is your thoughts on the 25,000 at Neyland, and what kind of how different will that be from a coaching standpoint? And I guess along those same lines, when you go on the road and face teams in front of 20 or 25,000.
Well, it's one of the great things about this league is every week, every stadium is going to be full. So that'll be something different. But we train year round. Obviously there's 8 weeks that we give them off, but we train when nobody's looking, and that's the mindset that I believe that we have to have as a team. And I know things have changed daily over the last 6 months. So who knows what's liable to happen as the season goes. So in a positive way or a negative way, who knows? But the way we're looking at it is we're training when nobody's looking. So we've got to be ready whenever the time comes.
We'll go to Austin Price, followed by David Ubbins.
Hey, Coach, talk to me about what Jalin Hyatt has impressed the staff with through the first few days. What does he bring to the table? And then with the decision today to not allow or to not require eligibility for this year, how does that change how you all will handle, kids across the board? I guess there won't be any worrying about 4 games anymore.
Well, first off, we have a lot of young receivers. And one thing about all of them is they can run. They're really fast. Jalen's a guy that is very polished. He's had 3 really good practices, and he's got to continue to do that. He's got to work on ball security. It's a little different in this league because everybody plays in your face. In high school, very few teams probably played him that way. So he's got to continue to work really hard at the line of scrimmage, at the top of routes. And he's a guy that can play really all three spots at wide receiver. When you're talking about the new legislation, we just found out about it coming off the field. I think it's a great idea. The NCAA is in place, and we're all here, all of us together. Everybody that's in college athletics, we're here to serve. We're here to serve all the student athletes, and I think it's a great opportunity for them in a time of uncertainty, so they can make decisions about their future and probably alleviate some anxiety for them. So I think it's a great idea.
David?
Yeah, Jeremy. Austin Pope had mentioned that he had some back issues this summer. What's his availability for the season, and is he out on the practice field at all with you guys?
Yeah, he's been out every day. He continues to improve, and if he continues to improve like he has the last 5 weeks, he should be ready to play for the opener.
We'll go to Patrick Brown, followed by Trey Wallace.
Hey, Jeremy. We talked to Henry Toto yesterday. He obviously had a pretty good freshman season. Just where do you see kind of the next step and the next level for him to get to? What would you like to see him improve as a player going into his sophomore year?
Well, last year, Daniel Batuli was the signal caller on defense. Henry's plenty capable of doing that. He was last year. But that's one of the things that will be added to him this year is being the signal caller on defense, making sure everybody's lined up, communication. So he's kind of the quarterback of the defense. One thing that he's really worked on is coverage, whether it's zone drops or playing man-to-man. He's really changed his body this offseason. Probably, I don't know exactly where his weight's at. He's probably a little lighter, but more so he's probably stronger now than he was, but he's really trimmed up.
Trey?
Jeremy, what have you seen out of Eric Gray? We got to speak with him yesterday, and it really seems like he has grown over the last year. With that running back room, how much has he been able to, along with Ty Chandler, kind of take over as a leader for you in that group?
Well, Eric has really good leadership ability. He's a great student. He works extremely hard all the time. He's a really good practice player. He worked hard in the weight room. He's probably put on 10 pounds since last year. And him working hard and at practice and in the classroom, that's who he is. That's who he was in high school, and that's just the way he's wired. So he's a great guy to just follow his lead on and off the field.
We'll go to Brent Hubbs, followed by Gustavo.
Coach, following up a little bit on Austin's question about the ruling today, I know you haven't had a whole lot of time to digest it, but what's your initial thought on what the number would need to be for roster management? I would assume you would expect that to be greater than 85. How do you expect that to be managed or dealt with by the NCAA in terms of adjustments being made there in light of the new rule today?
Well, I've not studied the legislation, but it's probably pretty simple. Where the numbers come into effect would just be seniors. A team that has 30 seniors on scholarship would obviously be different than a team that has 5. And just because you're a senior doesn't mean you're going to come back and play. So I'm sure they'll do the right thing. It's what the NCAA is there for. So whenever that happens, we'll adjust.
Would you be okay if it stayed at 85 and the rule where everybody this year doesn't cost anybody a year of eligibility?
No, there's no way that we can operate that way. There'll be, on every team, there'll be some young men that, decide to come back. We can't predict what's going to happen for the next 3 months. So I'm sure those circumstances will obviously affect people's decisions.
Gustavo?
In terms of practice, which was the area that you had most improve of, or you had most satisfy you in terms of practice this week?
Well, we've got to improve in every phase. Offense, defensively, and special teams. There's certain groups that are a little older, have more experience, and it has shown in the first 3 practices. So we've got to continue, but we've got to continue to improve at every group. We've got to find good leaders with each group, and got to have guys that affect other guys in a positive way.
We'll go to Eric Kane, followed by Dan Harrelson.
You got to replace Nigel Royer in the secondary this year. Obviously, some pretty big shoes to fill. How are some guys like Trayvon Flowers, Theo Jackson, and some of those newcomers progressing through the first week of camp?
Well, we've practiced 3 times. So all of those guys have had some good plays, and they've probably all had some bad plays. So we're working on consistency. We have talent back there in the back end. We have guys that played in a lot of football games. So it's time for them to elevate their game. It starts at practice, and we've got to build consistency.
Dan? Dan, you there? All right. Well,
yeah, actually, okay. Sorry about that. Coach, speaking of the defensive backfield, talk about Keyshawn Lawrence, a freshman coming in. I know you're getting into Thud, but talk about him a couple practices in and experience in the defensive backfield with a guy like Bryce Thompson. Obviously, at cornerback, is he doing pretty well? He can be versatile with the star position, even in dime personnel too. Talk about those 2 guys.
Well, Keyshawn is, he's learning the system for any young player. There's a little bit of, I guess you would say it takes a little bit of time. We've played with lots of true freshmen over the years, and he's a guy that has plenty of ability along with Nico Slaughter. So those guys are competing. We've got lots of opportunities out there, and in the end, we'll play the best players that we feel like give us a chance to win. And those guys certainly have an opportunity to be one of the 5 or 6 guys or 8 or 10 guys that we play. So we play a lot of guys and try to play the guys that deserve to play. So over the last couple of years, we've done that and had some success back there, and we've got to continue to do that. When it comes to Bryce, everybody has got to work on consistency. Bryce, the entire secondary, our entire team. So this is a new year, and we've got to take it one day at a time and continue to work hard and be able to master our position so we can be at our best.
Coach has time for 2 more questions. We'll go to David Ubben, followed by Trey Wallace.
Jeremy, what are you guys doing with Cade Mays in practice right now? And in your opening statement, you mentioned that a couple guys flashed on the first day of contact. Any guys stand out?
Well, we 2-spot, so everybody gets the same amount of reps. So Cade's in there. He's working just like everybody else. A lot of people, last week the question to me was about his waiver. It's interesting to me for him, the NCAA and everybody associated with college athletics, we always try to serve the kids, right? And Cade's a guy that based off none of his doings, he had nothing to do with it. There's a circumstance there, obviously, with a lawsuit between his parents and the University of Georgia. And it was something that started while he was there. I'm sure he worked hard to be the best player he could be. And I'm sure there was probably pressure on both sides from their coaching staff to him as a player. It's just something that don't happen a whole lot. So it is an unusual circumstance. So, him electing to transfer, and us applying for a waiver, I mean, to me, it's just common sense. If there's a lawsuit going on with your employer, it's probably not the healthiest situation in the world. And that's not bashing anybody at Georgia. That's just common sense to me. And so hopefully he'll get a chance to play this year. He's working hard every day, just like he's going to. So it would be very disappointing on many levels if any kid in this pandemic is denied the opportunity to play.
All right, we'll finish up with Trey.
Jeremy, have you been able to go over the NCAA kind of slipped it in last week, but there is a new academic-based incentive for players in all sports. Have you been able to go over that and be able to explain that to the young men of your program?
Well, obviously, we learned about it last Thursday. So it's something from a administrative standpoint. We've got to decide what we want to do, but we have certainly put it in motion, and we're coming up with a plan.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a great weekend.
Y'all have a great weekend. See you guys.